Hello, art teachers. Today we're going to talk about how to teach negative space in elementary art. This video has 4 parts. First, we've got an introduction. This is how I explain negative space to the students before we start our projects. Then we have a stencil project. I do this with 2nd grade. I call this a stained glass project. Very similar. I do this with 3rd. And finally, we have the classic NOTAN project. All of these are very simple one-day lessons. These are great for quick, hands-on, immediate, gratifying results to teach a pretty abstract concept. So this is how I introduce the concept of positive and negative space to my elementary students. I put it in terms of addition and subtraction, just like math class. One question I ask is, if I give you a piece of paper, what tools would you want to use to add things to your paper? Crayons, markers, glue. These are all ways we add things to our art. And if you wanted to subtract something from your art, what would you use? And the 2 answers that I get are erasers and scissors. Sometimes they talk about like whiteout, like covering up something as well. But I want them to get to scissors, and I talk about that's how we're going to create negative space today, is we are going to cut out pieces of our art. That's how we're going to subtract. So this screen is just a blank. I'm going to add something to create a positive. And now we have a positive where I added something, a negative space that's just the blank. And then I can remove some more, and that's going to create another negative space. And so I point at the board and we go negative, positive, negative. Now here's a nice lady. This whole picture is positive, but I'm going to remove parts of this pictures with some negative space, and it's going to make the picture look really different. Your more dramatic students will overreact to this picture. But it's a very clear example of how you can change a picture by subtracting part of the image. Then I have a few slides that we review. I point out now this girl and all of her red hair, those are all in the positive space. Can anyone see what's in the negative space? Some people think that's a dog, but most people think that's a bear. What about this? In the positive space, I see a sunset, but when we add some negative space down at the bottom, what does that create? This is a person holding a paintbrush. It's actually on the side of a trash can I saw one time when I was traveling. Now this one is interesting because we've got a double negative. First, I want them to identify what shape that is. And because of the dark coloring at the bottom, some don't see that it's an elephant right away. A lot of people see a camel, and sometimes they see other things as well. But, eventually we'll get to that is an elephant. And then in the positive space inside, what do we have? Oh, we've got the sunset. And then we have negative space again. What negative space did they subtract on the inside? And that's when we get the animals and trees. And this is a fun one because I will ask them, what is the positive space? And a lot of them will say the heart. Well, what did they add to this to make the positive? Oh, the beads or the candies or whatever those are. And you can see and I will put my hand up on the board and show, see, they pushed away with their fingers in the negative space. They removed, they subtracted, so it's the negative space that makes the heart. And this is a fun one because by this time they start to yell out scissors and then they, stop and think, what is the positive space? Because they didn't actually draw the scissors, they just drew everything around the scissors. So the positive space is all the color, and the negative space is the scissors. And this one's really tricky. Which one do you think is the positive and which one do you think is the negative? To me, it looks pretty balanced and equal. I often get kids who have a very strong opinion on which is which. I don't have an opinion, but it's good that they do. And then we move into whatever our project of the day is. For the 2nd grade, I start them out with these stencils. And I introduce the concept of a mask. What is a mask? What does a mask do? Well, we know a mask covers up part of your face. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some art, and then we're going to put a mask on it. We are going to cover up part of the art by cutting out a piece of black paper and covering up part of the art. For this, you'll need white paper. You probably want a heavy weight because we're using oil pastels and black paper. You need some stencils, pretty large. If you don't have large stencils, it's easy enough. You can just use folder material and cut out simple shapes like hearts or butterflies or stars, something like that. Scissors, glue, and a pencil. So the assignment for the first part is to completely color your paper with thick, solid color. I really discourage them from drawing pictures because part of the picture is going to be obscured. Also, it takes too long. I don't want them to spend a lot of time in detail. I want them to really cover their paper, which is why we use either quick sticks or oil pastels. Students who get really lost in the detail of drawing a very careful background never get to the negative space part. But students who work quickly can often do 2 of these in one class. Next, they take the black piece of paper, trace and cut their stencil. We glue the shape they cut out on the top. Then I like to glue it on a larger piece of black paper because it makes a nice frame. And here are some of the finished products. And a big bulletin board full of them. And the kids like this one because it's quick and bright and fun. And the stencils help them draw things that might be otherwise difficult for them. In the 3rd grade, we do a very similar project. This one I called stained glass. Again, I give the same review at the beginning of the different examples of negative, positive, and I also talk about masking. We're starting with the same supplies. The scissors you want for this, you want to use big scissors because instead of cutting a single layer of black, we're going to fold up that paper. They're going to have to go through multiple layers. And you'll need some Scotch tape. Again, I recommend the quick sticks and the oil pastels. Again, they're going to fill their paper entirely with color. My examples have different patterns on them, stripes or circles or geometric patterns just to get them inspired. And this time for the black paper, I don't recommend construction paper, which was fine for the other project, because you need to fold it and cut through multiple layers. So if you can get a black paper that is the same as a copy weight paper, I order it specifically for this project and 1 pack lasts me for years. And you're going to have the students fold that paper and they can fold it in many different ways. As a matter of fact, they can do a couple of these projects in one class period. And the key to variety is having them fold in different ways. The different folds are going to produce different patterns. Once they've got it folded, they're going to cut, and it's important for them to cut the shapes all the way out. The mistake some of my students make is they just want to sort of slash at it or hack at it, just cutting into it but not removing anything. But when you open that up, there's not going to be any holes, and you have to create holes for this to work. So here we are unfolding and laying it down. And what I like to do is tape it. This is what the Scotch tape is for. Instead of gluing the whole thing down, I just Scotch tape it around the top. And that way we can lift it up and put it up and down, and we can show positive, negative, positive, negative. And it's easy to do that sort of with one hand. At the very beginning, when I'm introducing the project, I show them the negative, and then I sort of make a motion to flip it with one hand to show what's underneath, and they really love that sort of movement magic trick of negative, positive, negative, positive. So that's why I like the flip, but you could just as easily glue it down or tape it all around. Here is some of our students' work. I really encourage them to try lots of different things, lots of different folds, to show how differently the addition of that negative space affects the final result. And here we have a bulletin board that also has our next project, the NOTAN, which I also do with 3rd grade. This is a pretty standard project, and you can find other videos for this. It's Japanese, and with 3rd graders, we're starting very simple, but the older the child, the more complex you can go all the way through middle school and high school. You need 2 different colors of paper. I'll cut mine 4x4 and 8x8. Size doesn't matter so much as you want the bigger piece to be about twice as big as the smaller piece. You need the scissors and glue and a pencil. Now this project is deceptively tricky, and because it looks simple, they want to rush ahead. So it's important that you get them to follow you step by step. And I always make a big point of that if you don't follow me step by step, if you rush ahead, you'll do it wrong and it won't work. So I need everybody to follow along exactly step by step. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to draw a shape on each side. And you want it to be, for this first one, a real simple shape. Don't cut in the corners. Make sure it's one on each side. Two mistakes that my students routinely make are they will make tiny little shapes that have no impact at all, or they will make really complicated shapes, and then it takes so long to cut those shapes out that they never get to the finished product. For this first experiment, I just want them to see how it works, so simple is best. Next, they're going to cut those out, but don't lose your shapes. Another problem when they do something that is really complicated is they end up hacking that into little pieces that they then can't put back together. So they really need something they can cut smoothly without breaking up the little pieces. Now, this is the part that they will go wrong, because the next thing we do is we glue down only the center. So often when your back is turned, they're going to glue everything back in, and then they're going to have to peel it back up. So glue in only the center. Then you are going to put those other pieces back in, but don't glue them. And I talk about it being a puzzle. So I want you to put your puzzle pieces back in exactly. Now this is very easy for me because I have done very different shapes. But if they have done all triangles or all ovals, they will often put them back in the wrong space. And it is absolutely important that they have to put it back in the correct space, and it has to fit exactly. So there's a lot of correcting as I go around saying, well, I don't think that one goes there. I think you need to flip that one over. Let's get that so it matches exactly. Then you need to open up each piece like a door and flip it out. Go around and flip out each one, glue it down one at a time, opening it just like a door. And that's your NOTAN. Now, lots of mistakes are going to be made on this first one. It's such a simple project that they can do 2, sometimes 3 in a class period. The mistakes they make are they're too far inside. To make a proper NOTAN, it should be exactly on the line, just as if they had opened a door on a hinge. Likewise, they will go too far out. You want each piece to be touching the center. Sometimes they just slide it out and they don't flip it at all. And of course, a very common mistake is that they will twist it when they're flipping it out. And it needs to be symmetrical. They need to be able to close that back like a door. So it really is a geometry puzzle that they really need to think about. And because when they look at it, initially it looks so simple, they will rush ahead. But that's okay because it's the productive struggle. The frustration is part of the lesson. So because it's cheap and easy, we've got plenty of paper. Okay, let's try another one. And you can encourage them to be more complicated on the next one, or you could also show them how to do a double NOTAN. In which case, for each shape that you cut out, you're also cutting a second shape on the inside and flipping that out in the opposite way. And that can keep getting more and more and more complex until you have something really detailed and elegant. Especially if you're in high school, your students are old enough to use a sharp knife, they can do some really detailed cutting. And here are some finished NOTANs from this year. You can see most of them are pretty simple. I've got a couple doubles in there. The black and white one in the middle right above the sign that says create artwork, that is a little more challenging. And then there's the one way over to the left there. He's stuck on the side because I had separated out for an art show that he didn't get in, but he should have gotten in because that's really good. So I like this project again because it's adaptable to all different skill levels. The lower skill levels can just do triangles all around, and the higher skill levels can really challenge themselves. That purple and orange one at the top between the positive and the third grade looks like a monster. At the end of the class, I always have my students rehearse so that when the teacher comes, I'm going to say to the teacher very sternly, well, Miss So-and-so, I'm afraid we have had a very negative class today. And then the students will say, no, it was positive. And I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, it was a very positive class. And the students will say, no, it was negative. And of course, the teacher will pretend that they have never heard that joke before. I'm Heidi Howe, and I've got lots more on the YouTube channel. Take what's useful to you, ignore what isn't, change what works for you, and please post some pictures so that we can see what's going on in your classroom. Post them here in the comments or on the Facebook page.